Okay, this is going to be a very interesting video because we are going to try and rank some of the Stranger Things characters who are most likely to die. This is going to be a tier list. We have 4 tiers. We have the safest one starting from the bottom. We have the safest characters that these characters are safe. They can generally be considered as safe. That means they are not likely to be deleted at the end of Stranger Things season 5. Then we have may or may not, like there is a 50-50 chance, there is a possibility that this character could die, but also there is a good enough reason for that character not to die. Then we have most likely, like 90% of the chance that this is the character that is most likely to die. And then we have gone 100%, like these are the characters which are just destined to die in Stranger Things 5. This is going to be a very chill, very relaxed video, and I will try and give my logical reasonings. I want to say that why this character is safe or why this character is most likely to die, and I urge you guys to please go down in the comment section and please share your tier list as well. You can do that while you are watching the video. It is going to be absolute fun. Let's start. So first we have the character of Erica. Alright, Erica, she's a kid. Yeah, she is going to have to do a lot of things in season 5 as well, but you can say that she's going to be safe, you know, she's going to be safe. Then next up we have the big gun. We have Jim Hopper. Alright, Jim Hopper. It is very difficult to say what is going to happen to Jim Hopper, but in an ideal world, I think if there is a chance to sacrifice himself, Jim Hopper won't back down because he has already done that quite a few times. So if there is a chance of saving Eleven or killing Vecna and in return he has to sacrifice himself, I think Hopper is the one who can do that. So he is going to go in the most likely section. Then we have another big gun. We have Dustin Henderson. All of the major characters I think should be in the most likely category, that okay, if things go southwards, these are the characters that should die. Probably then Dustin also goes into the most likely section. I'm not actually convinced. To be honest, I'm not actually convinced. So I'm just gonna put him in may or may not. Like there's a 50-50 chance that this character could die. Then we have Will Byers. Okay, so we have talked a lot about Will Byers, and if you are coming to this channel by watching these 2 videos, then welcome, you are in the right place because we have talked a lot about Will and how he could be connected to the Upside Down. But I think Will has to go in the most likely section because of course everything started with Will Byers, and it will be befitting that everything might end with Will Byers. And there's also the theory of which we discussed in that previous video, that it is possible that Will Byers was dead in season 1 itself. Like when he was taken in the Upside Down for the first time, he was dead then in itself, and he has been kept alive by Vecna. You can check out that video for the more details on this theory. But yeah, because of that I am keeping him in the most likely section, that 90% chance is that he's going to die. Then Owens, Dr. Owens. Yeah, Dr. Owens is also a very critical character because he is now captured by the military, and I think they are going to keep him alive, so he will definitely go in the may or may not, or probably the safe. But I think again, if there is a chance of sacrificing himself, I think he will not back down, so I'll keep him in may or may not. Like 50-50 chance he is there or he is not there. Then we have Robin. Robin is one of my favorite characters. Yeah, there was a talk about the spin-offs, and I actually made a video on this earlier, that what are the spin-offs that I would like to watch, and this was on my list. Just picture this: the events of season 5 have ended, Robin and Steve both have survived, and then just to get out of that rut called as Hawkins, they move on to a different city, say for example New York or any other big city, and they try to go through college there, and they are roommates. Steve and Robin are roommates, and it is going to be a very fun dynamic because Robin will bring home girls, Steve will bring home girls, and Robin will definitely try to hit on to Steve's girls and vice versa. So it will going to be a very, very interesting situation. And even if they do not do this exact spin-off, but still Robin is a character which is going to be very interesting to explore if there is going to be a spin-off. So therefore, just for that sake, I'm going to put her in the safe category. Then we have Joyce Byers. Man, this is very difficult, and I'm just gonna put her in the most likely category because again, same logic that applies to Hopper. If there is a chance to save either of her kids, Joyce will definitely try to sacrifice herself. Therefore, she is going into the most likely category. Then we have Murray Bauman. Murray Bauman, I don't think we need to give a lot of thought to him. But he's a very interesting character, and I'm going to put him in the safe category. There's no reason for that, but I'm just going to put him in the safe category. Then we have Ted. does Ted count in one of the main characters? I'm not sure. I don't know, but I think he's okay to be put into the safe category. Yeah, I think Vecna won't hurt the elderly. Sorry. Then we have Mike Wheeler. Okay, again, Mike Wheeler is supposed to go in the may or may not category, because there's a 50-50 chance Mike may survive, Mike may not survive. And given the fact that his connection with Eleven, he's another character who is most likely to sacrifice himself to save Eleven. Therefore, it is safe to say may or may not. Then we have Lucas Sinclair. He goes in the may or may not category once again. I think it is going to be a very not so competitive category, may or may not. Then we have Holly Wheeler. Now, Holly Wheeler is going to be very interesting, because definitely in the teaser breakdown, in the announcement video breakdown, we have also talked about this, that there is going to be something very interesting with Holly. And even when the behind the scenes pictures were coming out, that there's a scene in which Vecna has possessed Holly. Not possessed, but he has taken the control of the mind of Holly, and he has infiltrated her mind, and he is showing her visions. And then this exact scene, it is probably the scene where she is coming back from the trance of Vecna, and then she goes on and hugs her mother. So it is going to be very interesting what they do with the character of Holly. And if this was a younger Holly, that the baby Holly, she would have definitely gone into the safe category. But since we have seen a few interesting details about the character of Holly, I think she definitely deserves to be in the may or may not category. Then only a final few characters left, and I can see that all of these characters are quite big. Nancy Wheeler. What should we do with Nancy? I think it is going to be safe to keep her in again the may or may not category, but I think she should be in the safe zone. Along with Robin, I can also see another spin-off centered around the character of Nancy, but I think she is that glue of that adult group, so I want to keep her in the safe category. Then we have Mrs. Wheeler. Mrs. Wheeler have been just edging onto that line of being one of the main characters. Like in every season she is there and thereabouts, but I think this time she is going to be taking one of the front seats along with the character of Joyce, and therefore again, if there is a chance of saving their kids, I think Mrs. Wheeler will take that chance. So therefore she is going to still go in the may or may not category though. Then we have Jonathan. I think Jonathan has to go in the most likely category, because Jonathan is sympathetic, and Jonathan has not just one but plenty of characters for him. He can actually give his life. There is the character of Nancy, and therefore keeping Nancy in the safe category also works, because Jonathan is the character who can sacrifice himself for the greater good of Nancy. So that actually works pretty well. And then also he has his mother, he has his brother, and yeah, I think Jonathan is kind of that character who can actually give his life. Then we have Eleven. There is no doubt in my mind that she is going to die in Stranger Things season 5. There is a bit of a doubt, of course. There is also that wiggle room, of course, but I think everything started with Eleven. Like she opened the door, she opened the gate. Everything centered around 11, and I've actually made a video on this topic as well, that what could be the end of Stranger Things season 5, and I have given a very good poetic end to that. So definitely I'll link that video here. Please check that video. It is a very reminiscing of the first season and the character traits of 11. I mean, it's a very beautiful ending. You can check that video out there. Then we have Steve. Steve is one of my absolute favorite characters, and I do not want to see him die. And also, I have said this already about the spin-offs, that the spin-off of Robin and Steve. So therefore, technically, I should put him in the safe category. But in the last video we have discussed about this, that there was an audio leaked of Will shouting and saying to Steve that, Steve, you need to run. That basically means that Steve is the character who is going to be in a lot of danger in season 5. So he is definitely going in that most likely category. And again, Steve is another one who can give his life to save Nancy, and we have a situation in which the relationship of Nancy and Jonathan has gone into the next stage. Then we can definitely see that Steve may sacrifice himself to save either Jonathan or Nancy, so he goes into the most likely category. And also, if they kill off Steve's character, it is going to be a huge emotional gut-wrenching scene for all the viewers, so he deserves to go in the most likely category. But for the record, I do not want him to die. Then we have only 2 characters left. We have Vecna. I mean, it's quite safe to say Vecna has to die. I mean, come on, Vecna has to die. He has to go. So he basically goes there. Then Max. Max is going to recover in Stranger Things season 5. I have no doubt about that. She is going to recover at some point, but she becomes a very, very, very integral component to Vecna. Therefore, she is going to go in the most likely category. It is possible that Vecna will control Max at some point in this season, and therefore she comes into the most likely category. I think that is safe to say. So yeah, this is my tier list, and I think I have done a decent enough job to, just rank all these characters. We have 5 characters in the safe zone, then we have 6 characters in the most likely and may or may not zone, and we have 2 characters in the gone section. So this is my tier list, and you can definitely share your tier list or your ranking of the characters who are most likely to die in Stranger Things season 5 in the comment section. I would really appreciate that. Please do that. And of course, you can check out my other videos on Stranger Things. I have made a ton of videos. Please subscribe to the channel if you're into Stranger Things. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.